So finally, we come to the panel, to the questions part. So Brian, if you can probably one of the options we'll just walk through the questions. I guess some of them are for Alex and I'll use the microphone. So the first question is, I think is for you.
Yeah, what about Spark? Spark plus Parquet seems to be the most popular modern open source solution for analytics. I mean, it really depends what you're doing when choosing your tools. Spark and Parquet is a great combination. I mean, both row, columnar storage format and the compression it gives, the performance it usually gives, and the Spark optimizations work well together. But try joining like a few terabytes tables with billions of records together, and then I guess you'll see the limitations of that. I mean, essentially, the downside of this combination is that before this is already, I mean, if you're talking about Parquet, you're already talking about structured storage to some extent. You have in your storage boot structure, but that structure still doesn't contain enough information about the partitioning joints to help them make it efficient. You still have to redistribute the data in order to do your joints. So yeah.
Okay, so the next one probably.
Next one
is again
what is the key advantage of MemoriaDB in comparison to other competitors? Well, it depends on the competitor. I mean, if I were a bit further along in my career, if I sold my company, I would buy their data for most of what I do, but I can't afford it. So affordability has been, in this space, a few terabytes has been our top one objective. So we want to make a traditional tool that integrates well with everything that people know about, that doesn't cost you millions to start with. And I think we've done a pretty good job as our client Transmetrics put it up.
Can you share how many clients you have for how the volume international?
Well, we have to think about it, about 15-ish at the moment, with some pretty big names.
Okay.
And did I order the alphabet models at the beginning of the presentation? Not really. Ursus rarely did, and if you look through the presentation, I attributed it to him. I mean, check it out, it's the art of order. Okay.
Okay, about this external data, I think this works.
Well, since we are focusing on finance, we're actually taking a lot of macroeconomic data, market indices data, a lot of historical stocks and equities data. We started actually with one great project by Google. It's called GDELT. It's the biggest project for social unrest events that are being stored. You should check it out. It's a great thing. Since 1980, there's the full database of all protests, riots, strikes, military violence, and all those kinds of events that have occurred around the world. And we've tried to see how those correlate with stock movements and other external data as well. Well, we're looking into a few of our friends from the Open Data Institute who are trying to get whole companies' registries and to put it into knowledge bases. So we're really interested in all kinds of data that can give us interactions between companies and between organizations, so that we can see what are the connections between them. Because as I showed you on the network, you have nodes, you have links, you have other nodes. But what's in the links? You know, that's the question. And we want to be able to get data that tells us that those two companies have a particular type. For example, that this one is a customer to this one, or this one is a supplier to that one, and so on and so forth. So that's the kind of external data we should look for.
Yeah, we have now one which is the critical point of data volume which can be fit into MongoDB. I don't know who is our problem on. Is this question to you or?
Maybe it's general, I don't know what it is.
Maybe the name,
Yeah, I guess it's for Mongo.
I don't have much experience with Mongo. I've done a terabyte of Mongo in Amazon, but it didn't work too well. In my mind, I think the biggest we have done so far is 15 terabytes on a 9-node system. So that's with interactive queries on top of that. And I'll put the next two ones, so I don't want to compare it to Hadoop. Not really, I think it's different use cases. We're targeting enterprise data warehousing, whereas Hadoop is targeting and is really strong in handling unstructured data. I am aware of people who are trying to do enterprise data warehousing on top of Hadoop, but I'm not aware of anybody who succeeded. And I'm not saying the reasons are technical, that the tool isn't good for that. I mean, Hadoop is mostly an IT initiative, and successful data warehousing projects are business initiatives. And there's an inherent value in these two. And a bit of elaboration of what MongoDB does. So think of it as MySQL on steroids. It scales out, I mean, really as a client, you get a MySQL connection. However, with that MySQL connection, you can run. What happens under the hood is that it runs on a number of commodity servers, so we have to scale out. Each of those commodity servers is running the relational database engine itself, so all the storage goes into tables. And things that you can do with it is run SQL that joins very big tables together, does an aggregation, does a sequence of steps in a typical ETL. But it's not, it's not really a big data tool in the sense of handling humongous volumes of unstructured data.
So I guess it's the question.
And full hardtop, I don't know, sorry. Oracle, are we talking about Oracle Exadata or Oracle? I mean, with regular Oracle, it's optimized for pretty different workloads. I mean, you can use it for analytics, but then when you hit the terabyte range, you have to really put in expensive hardware to run well. Whereas, like did I mention the 9-node cluster? That's probably the cost is about 10,000-ish euro. So it really runs on dirt cheap hardware, and I'm actually working on making it run on Raspberry Pis, and you will see a post on our website when that happens. And let me give the floor to some of the other.
Yeah. So can you tell us some best practices for deploying co-processors?
I don't think there is the best practice for this. I just coded all these describing applications. So who is actually so interested in this? Okay. There are some pain injuries. So when you deploy a multiple version of particular co-processor, if you don't change the jar, and has some problems with the framework, so my advice is to delete the co-processor and after that redeploy. I tried by myself, so there's some pain injury. You'll find if you try.
Okay. Well,
question about artificial intelligence, but I suppose it's a pretty hard question.
That's a whole different conference, man. I guess that's for us. Do we use external service for manual? Well, yeah, we started using actually at the beginning. We were using Alchemy, which is developed now. Actually, got acquired by IBM, and it's part of Watson now. But we're developing our own different parts of the AMP engine. We don't really want to be dealing with the parts that are already established, like part of speech tagging or name entity extraction. Those are kind of solve problems, while sentiment analysis, which is again part of natural language processing, is what we're trying to push forward on our own.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions, but I don't see that they are uploaded. So if there are questions here from the audience, I mean, it's going to be much more interactive in that case, and we cover most of the more interesting questions. So do you have
Yes, I would like to ask what kind of language you can process? I guess it's just English.
Yeah. Right now, we started just with English, but we're working towards Spanish right now, and
And what do you need to do if you want to process Spanish or Russian or Chinese? Do you need to change the whole algorithm, or you just need to?
No, yeah, I answered the question. Thank you. The thing about this, especially for Western languages, we are actually able to use the natural language processing engines that were developed for English. So yes, you need to make some changes, but they're not that big changes. But now, if you want to analyze Chinese or Arabic through a natural language processing engine that has been created for English, that's a far-fetched thing, because if they just have different structure, you know, in Chinese one symbol could be half a sentence, you know, and they don't have that kind of structure as English. But those that are close to English, yeah, you can give it a try. With some fine-tuning, it can come out.
Okay.
I didn't actually get what you guys are doing. Are you doing something similar to DSS or no?
No. Actually, we were talking to DSS about getting data from them. Yeah. So, well, as I said, we want to develop a tool that discovers information in real time. We call it events because an event is just simply if it answers the 4 questions of what, where, who, and when. That's how we define it roughly. So we try to extract that information from Twitter and other social networks as well. And we try to, right now, our case is for finance, to do sentiment analysis on it and give it and alert certain financial companies about specific changes that are happening right now around a certain company, a certain commodity, a certain option that could give them the edge, you know, the window of opportunity to be able to act before it's too late. You know, the whole idea is to be able to give real-time information so that decision making can be improved. Because I think that's the whole thing about. Actually, yeah, we've talked a lot about data, but we haven't really said the other crucial expression that goes with data, that is decision making. All that data, it's useless if you don't act on it, if you don't do actually something with it. I mean, you can analyze as much as you want, but after that, if you don't do some action in the real world, it's meaningless. So that's the real power of real-time data, that it can give the edge, especially to financial people, to make the right decision before it's too late.
Okay, any other questions? Yeah, I guess that was it. So thank you for